going on, everybody? Sure, quite a few of you noticed I tried doing a live stream yesterday. I did that because I made a video first before I did that. That was a little over an hour long, and it was too much for to upload or something like that. My phone's pretty old, so yeah, I gotta take care of that soon. So I figured maybe going on Facebook Live would be a better way, but it sounded like absolute shit, as all you know. So anyway, if you're wondering why I'm making these videos, my story's gonna be in smaller video parts, like part 1, 2. This is part 1 intro, and then I was thinking about doing it like every 20 minutes or so, see if that works. We'll see. If you're wondering why I'm making these videos, this is why. Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, as most of you know, I've had my fair share of legal problems. It's something I'm definitely not proud of at all. And down the road, I, had some pretty serious consequences for my bad decisions. And, I'll say this, every bad decision that I've ever made in my life haunts me to this day. Everything, whether if I had consequences for them or not. Almost on a daily basis, I'm terrorized with flashbacks, and then, which lead to panic and anxiety attacks, and then freaking I get nightmare. It's a mess. But honestly, I really feel that's what I deserve. I do. So, what I'm going to talk about in these videos are, the consequences that I received for my bad decisions. I've had 3 DWIs total in my life. Stupid shit, I know. First one I got was in October 2016. That was a misdemeanor, kind of a slap on the wrist. Then 2019, I got 2 more. They're felonies. The second DWI I got, I was wrongfully charged. Now I'll get to that in a second. But the third one I got, 100% guilty. And I'll never deny that. So, about the one I was wrongfully charged. I was out running errands one day, and I was kind of speeding and rushing home because I really had to use the bathroom, and I got less than a half a mile away from home, and this was during the fall, like around hunting season, and then so a deer ran across the road, and I was in no mood to deal with that. I've hit about 6 or 7 deer throughout the years, so I wasn't, I would have been pissed if I hit it. So I swerved him out of the way to miss it. I ended up going off the road. I lost complete control of my car, freaking ended up getting airborne, fucking came down, crashed really hard, tore the struts off my car, fucking blew off the freaking left front wheel. It was a scary ride. It was a really freaking scary ride. And I went into shock because of it. So instead of staying at the scene of the accident like I should have, I ran home. I was going to be like, alright, I'm going to use the bathroom, and then I'm going to take care of this. Because I did take out a road sign, when that happened. But a state trooper freaking saw the whole thing happen, and he followed me into my driveway, and since I was in shock, he thought I was all fucked up. So they ended up taking me into the state trooper's barracks, and then they took me to the hospital to get blood, and this is what screwed me. I'll be honest, the night before, I went out to the bar, partied a little bit, and a bad decision. I bought some nose candy off of freaking somebody who I didn't even know, and it ended up being cut with fentanyl. I was falling asleep walking home. I was pissed because cutting an upper with a downer doesn't make any freaking sense to me. But either way, I had those two substances in my system, and if I didn't get my third and final one, this one my lawyer said we possibly could have beat it. And so, or at least get it, bumped down to, something like from a felony to a misdemeanor or whatever. But no, freaking, I ended up getting another one, and my lawyer went to a my PSI like before, like I ended up getting a deal. And the deal was I was to do 5 years of felony probation, and I had to complete Ontario County's treatment court. And then when he told me about, the first thing he said after he told me he got this deal was this. One of the main like head judges for Ontario County was like the head judge in front of this. The head judge is different than the treatment court judge. I'll get to her in a minute. Wicked witch. Freaking. He told me that the judge was pissed that I got a deal. Pissed. And that doesn't freaking surprise me at all, because Ontario County freaking was after me for a long time. They hate me. I mean, in my opinion, I haven't really given them too many reasons to hate me, but they do. And I know a few sheriffs and a few corrections officers, they're not shitty people, but, and I'm not saying anything against law enforcement. I'll get to that in a second. So I got this deal, and what I'm going to talk about is excuse me, I gotta get my mouth really dry. What I want to do is this. I want to talk about the things that led me to my incarceration. I'm going to talk about all the dirt, fuckery, and illegal bullshit that I witnessed and endured while I was in the hands of Ontario County's Treatment Court and the New York State Department of Corrections. And the point of this video is this isn't all about taking shots at Ontario County or New York State DOCCS. I'm also going to talk about at the end all the remorse and regret that I have for everything I've done and everything I've been through. So I told you about the deal that I was given. So I'll get to the treatment court stories in a few minutes here. I have been dealing with substance abuse issues for a long time, and it's not something I'm proud of, but it is. Like, I've got 3 DWIs to prove it. It's just, man, I'm doing fine now, but I used to be freaking reckless. I think I was about 12 years old when I started sneaking into my parents' liquor cabinet, like when they would go out on a Saturday night. But that was the age when I discovered freaking, what was in there was good. And my parents are not drinkers at all. They had all that booze because they had, they always had a Christmas party every year. Before I was born and when I was a little kid, and then they stopped. and they had all that booze. So, yep, started then, and then I started smoking marijuana about a year or so later. In high school, all I did was I smoked weed, I drank, and I tried a couple of pills. I didn't really know anything about them. The summer I graduated, I started trying. After I graduated from high school, I basically, tried everything else within not a very long amount of time. And yeah, it's pretty much been off to the races since there. It's been a long time. I mean, I graduated in 2006. It's 18 years later, so yeah, almost two decades. But anyway, when I was a freshman in college when I started getting into the hustling game. I never I stuck when I was a freshman in college. I started selling pot and prescription pills, and then later on I went to other things. I'm not gonna say what they are because this doesn't matter, but I could have gotten a lot of trouble. I would never have considered myself like a full-time hustler or dealer. Like I would do it when it was convenient for me, and if I thought that I could make a decent buck on it, that's what I would do. But did that throughout the years. I actually made quite a bit of money, because I knew a lot of plugs or connections or whatever you want to call them, and they were all telling me about how much money they were paying people to drive them places, and me being young and stupid, I'm like, shit, I'll do that for you for half the price. So yeah, freaking we're from the Rochester. I was driving to Syracuse, Buffalo, Batavia, Watertown. Went to Pennsylvania a couple times, and then one time, this was crazy. We one of my plugs had connections from up in Canada, way up north by across St. Lawrence, and we drove up there one time, and we had to drive through. I'll get to the area we had to drive through in a second, but basically we drove all the way up north past the Adirondacks and stuff like that, and so nobody had to go through customs. We met them on the side of the St. Lawrence River, and then beat them, and then on our way back, what we had to drive through was the Akwesasne Indian Reservation, and if you're a white boy, that is the last place in all of New York State you want to get lost. State troopers don't even go on their territory. The reason for that is they patrol their territory, especially at night, with four-wheelers and AKs and AR-15s. These guys are crazy. I actually remember freaking when I was, I don't know, maybe 12 years old, maybe 11, 12 years old. I was in the youth group of the church that, that my parents could still go to, and that I was raised in as a kid. We went to a church up on that Indian reservation, the Akwesasnes, to do clean it up, do some maintenance work, and the church ran on the bank of the St. Regis River, and the St. Regis River is a small river that flows north into the St. Lawrence, and we would swim in it. And one day, freaking a whole gang about 4 or 5 different Native Americans from up there, about, I would say, range from age 18 to 24. started whipping rocks at us. Yeah. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised that back, you know, the youth group coordinator back then was willing to put, you know, our lives in danger. So, yeah, I was always worried about that. But anyway, freaking on the way back, we either got lost. We did get lost. Freaking, we either took a wrong turn or missed a turn. I don't remember, but we were lost. We didn't know where we were going, and it was freaking scary because you never know when they're gonna freaking pop out, freaking, you know, run at you or whatever, shoot at you, freaking. So we're driving around, and my buddy's like, freaking, you know, pull over, I gotta take a piss. So goes out, takes a piss, and then he jumps back in the car. He's like, go, no, now. So I fucking floor it, and then I look up in the rearview mirror for a split second, and I see two little four-wheeler headlights freaking chasing us. Yeah. That was scary. You know, eventually we freaking, you know, got unlost, but I was like, I'm not fucking going up there ever again. So, you know, and stuff like that, you know, like, and then that was when I was, like, mad young, like 19, 20 years old, back when I was probably the craziest I ever was and the dumbest I ever was. Honestly, like, I'm surprised that it took me until 34 years old to go to prison. I always thought I would go in my early 20s. And I kind of honestly predicted, like, I've been able to, in my life to foreshadow things, like see things that you know are going to happen in your life. Well, freaking, since I was my 19, early 20, I thought I would always end up in prison, and I did. So, now we'll go back to the deal I was offered. It was 5 years felony probation and treatment court at a complete treatment court for Ontario County. Probation never gave me a problem, not once. Treatment court, on the other hand, made my life a living hell. Like, they literally own you. Freaking, you have to call in every morning from Monday through Thursday, and if they give you certain directions, you put everything down and you freaking serve them. Well, I said serve that. I was hypothetically speaking, but yeah, no, they freaking own you. Freaking, you have to do everything they fucking tell you. You can't reschedule your appointments without permission. You can't freaking not. You know, it's a mess. It's a huge mess. It started getting to the point where freaking almost every Friday morning I was throwing up. So, yeah. So anyway, freaking, I'll get this. I'm gonna stop this part of the video right now. It was getting up to the 20-minute mark, and then I'm making about a few 20-minute videos. So I'll see you in the next one.